Have you ever wondered why some people in their 70s still have a sharp mind, remembering every detail of their life, while others begin forgetting their grandchildren's names after just one afternoon? Aging happens to everyone, but not everyone ages the same way. Some still read books every night and tell witty jokes at family gatherings. Others, just a few years after retirement, feel lost within their own memories. What's concerning is that most of us assume memory loss is just natural with age. But science has proven the brain is like a muscle. If you don't train it, it will gradually weaken. The good news is, with just 10 minutes a day, you can activate your brain, keep your memories fresh, and your mind alert. From retelling an old story in a new way to writing by hand each night, these simple but effective exercises have already helped thousands of older adults. If you want to keep your memory sharp, stay with us until the end of this video. We'll share 5 daily brain exercises, easy to do, completely free, yet capable of transforming your aging journey. Click like if you find this topic helpful, and don't forget to share it with family and friends. The people you don't want to see slowly forget who they are. Have you ever tried a memory-boosting brain exercise? If so, share your experience in the comments. Your story might inspire someone else. Now let's begin the journey of keeping our minds bright, starting with the smallest steps. Retelling an old story with new details. Try to recall a childhood memory, maybe your first family camping trip, your first day of school, or that summer when you rode your bike endlessly around the neighborhood. What do you still remember? The smell of freshly cut grass, the morning bird song, or the shoes you wore that day? This habit may sound simple, but it's one of the most effective ways to awaken the deep memory regions of the brain, and it can start today with just a few minutes of remembering, adding one small new detail each day. How long has it been since you last told an old story? Not just a quick summary like, "I used to study far from home," but a detailed version with feelings, colors, sounds, and even what you were thinking at the time. People usually remember things vaguely. "I had a dog once," but if each day you add one more detail, "It was brown, had a floppy left ear, and always hid under the table when it rained," suddenly that memory comes alive, as if you're seeing it right in front of you. The reason this exercise is important is that it activates multiple areas of the brain simultaneously, especially those responsible for language, emotion, and long-term memory. When you try to recall a small, often overlooked detail, like the color of the school bus you took, or the first thing your mom said when she woke you up, the brain has to dig deeper, strengthening the connections between neurons that were stored years ago. Every detail you name is like a workout for your brain, memory training in action. Even more, when you retell a familiar story from a fresh perspective, you're not only enriching that experience, but also training your language skills and mental organization. 2 abilities that decline quickly in older adults if not regularly practiced. Anyone can do this exercise without any tools, just memory and a bit of patience. You can start with 5 minutes each morning or while making your coffee. Think of a memory and ask yourself, was it sunny that day? Who was with me? How did I feel when it happened? The next day, add one more detail. Day by day, your story becomes more vivid. Some people struggle at first thinking, "I don't remember anything." But the truth is, the memories are still there. They just need to be awakened the right way. And the more you retell, the more easily your brain retrieves those files from its archive. If you start this practice today, what will happen after a month? You'll have dozens of upgraded stories, rich in detail, full of emotion, and most importantly, you'll feel yourself living again in those moments. You may be surprised to suddenly remember the name of an old friend you thought you'd forgotten, or find it easier to tell stories to your grandchildren. That is the power of active memory training. The more you use it, the sharper it becomes, and you don't have to be perfect. The most wonderful thing is that every effort to remember, even just one small detail, brings real benefits to your brain. Start by asking yourself, what old story have I told many times, but never really described in detail? So today, pick one memory to retell. Just add one new detail. Tomorrow, add one more, and you'll see. Memory isn't something we inevitably lose with age. It's something that can be reawakened little by little, if we know how. Memorize a list of 5 items and check back after 10 minutes. Have you ever walked into the kitchen to get something, only to stand there for a few minutes, unable to remember what you came for? If so, you're not alone. Short-term memory, the ability to hold information for just a few minutes, is one of the first things to decline after age 60. But here's the good news. It can absolutely be trained with just one simple game a day. Challenge yourself with this small task. Memorize a list of 5 items. For example, bread, milk, oranges, butter, salt. Write them down on paper. Then, stop thinking about them. Do something else. Take a walk, wash the dishes, read the paper. 10 minutes later, come back and try to write down those 5 items without looking. The first time, you might forget 1 or 2, but don't get discouraged. That effort to recall the information is actually the most important part of the exercise. Short-term memory is like a whiteboard in your mind, a space where information is quickly written for immediate use, but also easily erased if not reinforced. When you intentionally memorize something, then try to recall it after a while. You're forcing your brain to work, organizing information, searching for it, and reconstructing it. These are essential skills to help maintain alertness and concentration. This exercise not only trains your memory, but also sharpens your attention, something that often declines as we age. The act of deliberately memorizing and then temporarily forgetting before testing yourself is a great way to keep your brain as flexible as it was during your working years. Start with 5 familiar items, things commonly found in your fridge, for example. Then gradually increase the difficulty. 6 or 7 items, change the order, or pick unrelated words. For instance, flashlight, tie, popcorn, red book, towel. The more you practice, the faster and longer you'll remember. Here's a small tip. After writing down your list, fold the paper and place it somewhere visible, like next to your morning cup of tea. This acts as a gentle reminder without tempting you to peek. What matters most is maintaining that 10-minute break, doing something else, so your memory is truly challenged. After a few weeks of practice, you'll begin to notice subtle yet clear improvements. Forgetting fewer items at the store, recalling your children's instructions more easily, and even feeling more confident in conversations. These little wins don't just lift your mood, they keep your brain active and agile. What's great about this exercise is that you can do it anytime, anywhere. No devices, no complex setup. All you need is a pen, a piece of paper, and 10 minutes of relaxation. Think of it as a game with yourself. You can even jot down your results daily. Today, I remembered 4 out of 5. Next day, I got them all right. Over time, you'll not only see your improvement, but also gain a sense of control over your memory, which is crucial for maintaining mental clarity. If you have time today, try this exercise now. Write down any 5 items, then set them aside, make yourself a cup of tea, and listen to a song. When you come back, try to recall each item. No matter the result, you've already given your brain a gentle but effective workout. Are you ready to challenge your memory? Start today. 1 list a day and 1 more chance each day to keep your brain sharp. Switch hands. When brushing your teeth or unlocking a door. Do you still brush your teeth every morning with your dominant hand? What about opening doors, holding a spoon, or flipping a light switch? Most of us perform these actions out of habit, so much so that we hardly notice how we do them. But if today you try using your non-dominant hand for one of these tasks, you'll notice something right away. Your brain has to be more alert, more attentive. And that's exactly the purpose of this exercise. The brain loves familiarity. It's naturally lazy because that helps conserve energy. But it's this constant repetition of habits that causes certain regions of the brain to be underused, eventually falling asleep. That's why this hand-switching exercise, which may sound silly at first, is considered by neuroscientists to be a highly effective way to stimulate the brain and create new neural pathways. When you brush your teeth with your non-dominant hand, your brain must coordinate unfamiliar movements, assess force, direction, and speed. This activates the motor cortex on the opposite side of the brain, a part that often remains underutilized if you always rely on your dominant hand. It's like forcing your body to walk a brand new path, bumpy at first, but clearer with every step you take. Over time, this enhances the brain's adaptability and flexibility, two key traits in preventing cognitive decline in older adults. And don't worry if you feel clumsy at first. That's actually a good sign. That discomfort means your brain is relearning from scratch, much like driving a manual car after years of using an automatic. That awkwardness signals that your brain is working at full capacity. This hand-switching exercise isn't just for brushing your teeth. You can apply it to a range of daily tasks: opening doors, holding a spoon, using a computer mouse, even writing a few lines with your non-dominant hand. Every unfamiliar movement is an opportunity for the brain to expand its motor map and strengthen interconnections between regions. What's more, using your non-dominant hand often requires more focus and a slower pace, which also brings mindfulness benefits. It forces you to be present in the moment rather than operating on autopilot. After a week of practicing, you may begin to notice increased flexibility, not just in physical actions, but also in thinking. Some studies suggest that people who regularly switch hands have faster reflexes and better problem-solving skills because their brains have grown accustomed to breaking out of old patterns. You can even turn this into a fun family game. Who can do the most tasks in a day with their non-dominant hand? You might also keep a playful journal of your experiences. Brushed teeth with left hand, soaked my shirt. Next day, opened the door left-handed. Took 2 minutes, but I did it. These small moments help you feel alive and actively engaged, rather than simply letting the days slip by. And you don't need to do this all day. Just pick 1 or 2 actions a day to switch hands, and it's enough to awaken those often idle parts of the brain. Like an artist learning to draw with their other hand, not to replace the original, but to expand their creative capacity. If today you choose to do one task with your non-dominant hand, you're not just exercising your arm, you're training your brain. And that's one of the simplest ways to keep your mind sharp and ready to adapt to whatever life brings. Do a reverse thinking exercise. When someone recites the alphabet from A to Z, your brain can easily follow along. But if they start from Z and go backward, everything changes. Or if you're asked to count backward from 100 by sevens, 100, 93, 86, you'll feel your brain begin to stretch. And that's exactly why this exercise is so valuable for people over 60. We're used to thinking in patterns: Monday, Tuesday, or 1, 2, 3. Because these sequences are repeated throughout life, the brain almost goes on autopilot when performing them. But when you reverse the order, like counting backward or doing unfamiliar math, you force your brain to switch off autopilot and work actively, intentionally. This isn't just a math or intellectual task. It's a workout for your reflexes, information processing, and cognitive flexibility, abilities that tend to rust if not regularly trained. Start with the alphabet. At first, you might need to silently recite A to Z before attempting the reverse, but after a few tries, you'll find yourself remembering faster, feeling more alert, like a machine being freshly oiled. The same goes for number exercises. Count backward from 100, subtracting by sevens. It may sound easy, but you'll need intense focus. A single wrong number disrupts the whole sequence. That's why this practice sharpens accuracy, patience, and control over your thinking process. Neuroscience studies show that when older adults tackle unusual problems like these, the prefrontal cortex, responsible for planning and decision-making, becomes highly active. This can help slow cognitive aging and maintain quick, adaptive thinking. You don't have to be good at math to start. Just 5 to 10 minutes a day is enough. Try it while walking, waiting for your children at the store, or making tea in the morning. In those moments, instead of letting your mind drift, pull it back by thinking, count from 30 to 1, or subtract by 4 starting from 50. Within a few days, your mind may feel sharper, even more so than after a cup of coffee. Here's a tip to make it more fun. Record the sequences you complete correctly, or challenge a family member to see who can count backward faster and more accurately. These small games bring not only laughter but also connection across generations, showing your grandchildren that Grandpa still got it. Even better, reversing thought patterns helps you think more creatively. When your brain gets used to doing things out of order, it becomes more open to finding new solutions in everyday life, from reorganizing the kitchen to resolving a family disagreement. And remember, perfection isn't the goal. This exercise is not about always getting it right. It's about gaining control over your thoughts and feeling challenged each day. That feeling of I can still do hard things is a powerful mental boost that brings confidence and joy. So today, instead of starting your morning with the news or checking the weather, try a small challenge. Count backward, recite the alphabet in reverse, or invent your own reverse sequence. It's a simple but effective way to keep your mind alert and your brain actively engaged. Write a handwritten gratitude journal every night. 3 things you're grateful for. What do you usually do before going to bed? Watch TV? Scroll through your phone? Dwell on unfinished tasks? Your bedtime habits can shape the quality of your sleep, your mood the next morning, and even your memory. So why not replace those habits with one small yet meaningful action? Handwriting 3 things you're grateful for each night. Imagine this. You sit down at a table, in front of you a simple notebook and a familiar pen. You don't need to write a long essay. Just 3 small things. The weather was beautiful today. I called an old friend. My son asked if I had eaten enough. A few short lines, yet enough to create big changes in your brain. Studies have shown that regularly practicing gratitude can improve mental health, strengthen the immune system, and, most notably, activate the brain regions related to emotional memory. When you record positive things each day, you're training your brain to notice good experiences instead of defaulting to anxiety or negative thoughts. Writing by hand, rather than typing on a phone, is even more impactful. Using pen and paper requires coordination between motor skills and thinking, which activates more areas of the brain, especially in older adults. You're not just writing, you're engraving positive feelings into your long-term memory. Many people think journaling is for the young or for those who are good at writing, but in reality, it's a powerful healing tool for all ages, especially after 60, when we tend to reflect more on the past than live in the present. Writing down things you're grateful for helps anchor you in the now and reminds you that life still holds many beautiful moments, even if the day wasn't perfect. You don't need a fancy notebook or a quiet, ideal space. Just a familiar little corner, maybe the kitchen table or the living room couch. The key is consistency. Every night, write down 3 things. Day after day, you'll notice a lighter mind, better sleep, and a sharper memory naturally. Some people choose to write about loved ones, precious memories, or even hardships they've overcome. Anything that makes you feel grateful, a morning cup of coffee or a sunset through the window, is worth writing down. Because when you write, you make that memory live longer in your mind. This habit also helps strengthen family bonds. Many share their gratitude journaling practice with a spouse or grandchildren. When a whole family reflects on their day positively, it creates an atmosphere of love and appreciation for one another. Scientifically, handwriting daily gratitude boosts the activity of the amygdala, the brain's emotional center, and the hippocampus, which manages long-term memory. This helps you not only feel better, but also remember the good things more vividly. If you're afraid you'll forget, place your journal somewhere visible, on your nightstand, coffee table, or beside your lamp. Let it serve as a gentle reminder. Before ending the day, recall 3 good things. You can start tonight. Open a blank page and write your first line. I am grateful for. Even on a tired or hectic day, you can always find something to appreciate. And that very act helps you maintain clarity, warmth, and most importantly, a vivid, lasting memory. So tonight, what will you be grateful for? Thank you for taking the time to listen and stay with us until the end of today's journey. It shows that you truly care about your mental well-being, and that is something more precious than ever. Together, we've explored 5 small but powerful brain exercises, from retelling an old story and memorizing a short list, to brushing with the opposite hand and writing a gratitude journal. Each of these habits may seem simple, but they are, in fact, the keys to a future filled with clarity, vitality, and mental sharpness. You don't need to be a genius to have a good memory. What you need is consistency, patience, and a little self-love. The brain, just like the heart, always appreciates the care you give it day by day. Now it's your turn to share. Among the 5 exercises we talked about, which one resonated with you the most? Where will you begin? Leave your thoughts in the comments, because your answer might just inspire someone else who is looking for the motivation to make a change. If you found this content helpful, don't hesitate to click like, share it with someone you care about, or subscribe to the channel so you won't miss future videos. Every time you share, you're offering someone a little more hope. I truly look forward to continuing this journey with you as we learn how to live healthily, joyfully, and meaningfully at every age. Because you deserve a full and vibrant life, and because it is never too late to start living better, beginning with the smallest steps, starting today.